For we are not meant to bear the burden alone. Was it real? The dreams felt so vivid. He even noticed how great it was not to have a headache while he was there. Can you dream of such things? Alex buried his head in his arms, feeling the cool desk on his cheek. He tried to burrow just that little deeper to form a perfect darkness, hoping the other world would be waiting for him. It wasn't, but he could imagine it. A slight ray of sunshine pierced his fortress of shadows, and he thought about how to snuff it out. Maybe this world wasn't real. He had seen the pixelation, the blurs. Didn't the robotic voice call his world a simulation? This world's sun was glaring and hot, annoying at best. That other world had a sun that was gentle, not too bright, and not so damn hot. He loved that other sun and wanted to bring it to this world, or maybe just live in that other reality. There was an ideal change he could easily accept. Living in the world with the gentle sun, where enemy after enemy rose up against him only to be crushed under his heel. In that other world, he was in charge. He called the shots, and the armies he created could sweep the floor with anything that dared challenge his supremacy. No teachers forcing him to learn. No parents expecting him to find some mundane job to waste his life on someone else's dreams. It was his life, after all. He should be able to choose which world he wanted to. Alex! The chalk skipped off his head, and he rose to a chorus of laughter from the other students. He faced the teacher. Pay attention. Maybe if you played your games less and studied more, you could get somewhere in your life. Fuck you. He didn't say it. He wanted to, but he wouldn't. Mouthing off to his teacher would draw the attention of his parents, and that wouldn't end well. I'm sorry, my head hurts, he said. It wasn't a lie per se, but it wasn't the whole truth either. His head had already started to ache before he even arrived at school. But he craved the cold, the sleep, the other world that lay just beyond the veil. Do you want to visit the nurse? His teacher asked. No, he said. I'll be okay. The nurse might be able to give him some painkillers, but that wasn't what he wanted. The pain here was something he expected in this world, part of the reason he didn't want to be here. But did he really want to be in that other world if the stakes were that high? Would everything he knew be wiped out if he lost? Fuck yes. In his world, the armies of robots he would unleash could destroy the teacher and his classmates. In that world, his parents would respect his choice or suffer the consequences. Here, he was at the mercy of everyone else, but in that game world, he was the one others begged for mercy. For a moment, he paused. He loved his parents. His headache made him hate everything, made him hate himself. He was bringing that pain upon himself. Alex then decided. He would not fight for hate. He would fight for the ones he loved. If it was real, if he would face another battle. But deep down, Alex knew he would. The rest of the day, Alex tried to focus on his lessons. The voice told him to. This was his path. He might not like all of it, but that was no reason to shrink away from his responsibility. Back at home, Alex started his favorite game. He was looking at the lobby screen, but he had no longer his heart in it. The game lost its appeal. Sighing, he turned his screen off again. Perhaps if he went to sleep, he would be back in the world he rather wanted to be. The world where he could excel. Sleep did not come. His mother told him to count sheep if he couldn't sleep. One by one, he envisioned sheep jumping a fence and counted them. Slowly, he started to doze away, and the sheep were replaced by the tiny robots he commanded in the other world. Robots jumping the fence in an endless stream. The cold enveloped Alex once more, and the familiar light approached him. The robotic voice spoke. You have been chosen to face 2 other prime candidates in a free-for-all battle. Prove your mettle or all will end. Now that was ominous, but not unexpected either. Whatever the stakes, he rather wanted to be here. If anyone had to battle for the continued existence of his world, he wanted it to be him. He was never lose 85. Alex's focus sharpened as he considered his strategy. Facing 2 opponents at once would require high mobility. He decided to leverage the Air Force strategy he'd been contemplating. If he could keep his units mobile and strike swiftly, he might gain the upper hand. His thoughts turned to the transport planes in the game. He recalled the description that stated they could carry any light and medium units. The word any stuck in his mind. He could lift enemy units with these transport planes. A devious smile crossed his face. The potential for disruption was immense. He could lift enemy commanders right out of their bases and drop them into the fray. This could create chaos and potentially eliminate them without a direct confrontation. Alex set to work, queuing up his Air Force units and preparing to deploy his transport planes. The plan was simple. Lift the enemy commanders and drop them into vulnerable positions, or worse, let them be destroyed by their own defenses. As he executed his strategy, he watched with anticipation as the transport planes took off. His attention was divided between managing his units and keeping an eye on the enemy's reactions. He knew he had to act fast and decisively. The battlefield was divided into 3 sections, with each opponent occupying a corner. Alex maneuvered his Air Force to avoid detection, positioning his planes for optimal strikes. He could almost taste the victory as he prepared to launch his bold attack. In the chaos, the enemy commander's defenses were not prepared for the surprise air assault. Transport planes swooped in and lifted the enemy commanders. The first commander was destroyed by his own air defenses immediately, causing a massive explosion that nearly obliterated his entire base. The second enemy commander reacted swiftly, turning off his air defenses in a desperate attempt to protect himself. Alex seized the opportunity, letting a cheap fighter shoot down the transport carrying that commander. The resulting friendly fire led to the destruction of the commander and the other base. 2 messages appeared when the annihilation was complete: asshole and respect. Farewell. As everything turned dark again, Alex marveled at the unexpected turns of the battle. His heart, or rather, the echoes of his human emotions, raced with the thrill of victory. But a lingering thought gnawed at him. Did he just end 2 other worlds? He did not want to be an ender.